Deeper into the mess. Hi everyone, welcome back to the 39 Steps. It's Tuesday, 19th of May, 1914, Wimpole Street, London. The night after the conversation with Scudder. Is that the milk delivery? That's awesome. Love it. You see the little milk? Yeah, little milk jugs and stuff. It's 7:30. Somebody bang on the front door.
Stop that row, Paddock. There's a friend of mine, Captain... he's dossing down in there. Get breakfast for 2, and then come and speak to me.
Forgotten his name already. Me too. The character. He had about as much gift for the gab as a hippopotamus, and it was not a great hand at valeting, but I knew I could count on his loyalty. Acquaintance. Paddock was a fellow I had done a good turn to out of the Selaquy, and I had inspanned him as a servant as soon as I got to England. It's these old words. Who knows? Oh, bacon, eggs and beans. Lovely. Could be sausages, I suppose. I told Paddock a fine story about how my friend was a great swell. With his nerves pretty bad from overwork, who wanted absolute rest and stillness? Nobody had got to know he was here. He would be besieged by communications from India Office and the Prime Minister, and his cure would be ruined. And I am bound to say Scudder played up splendidly when he came for breakfast. He fixed Paddock with his eyeglass, just like a British officer, asking him about the Boer War, and slung out at me a lot of stuff about imaginary pals. Paddock couldn't learn to call me sir, but he sirred Scudder, as if his life depended on it. I left him with a newspaper and a box of cigars and headed out to the Alexandra Park racecourse. When I got back, the liftman had an important face. Had an important face, okay. It's the old way of writing.
Nasty business here this morning, sir. Gent in number 15 been and shot himself. They've just took him to the mortuary. The police are up there now.
Floor 5, man. Good man. I ascended to number 15 and found a couple of bobbies and the inspector busy making an examination. I asked a few idiotic questions and they soon kicked me out. Oh, Coroner's Court's quite a nice building, isn't it? I attended the inquest the next day. The jury found it a case of suicide of unsound mind. Oh, the drink. I gave Scudder a full account of the affair, and it interested him greatly. He said he wished he could have attended, for he reckoned it would be as bad as spicy as to read one's own obituary notice. Bit dark. It would be nice to see who turns up at your funeral though, wouldn't it, eh? Who you can really trust. Scudder was very peaceful for the first 2 days he stayed with me. He read and smoked a bit and made a heap of jottings in a notebook, and every night we had a game of chess at which he beat me hollow. But on the third night I could see he was beginning to get restless. He fixed up a list of days and started making remarks against them. He started listening for little noises, and was always asking me if Paddock could be trusted. Once or twice he got very peevish and apologised for it. I don't blame him. I made every allowance, for he had taken on a fairly stiff job. And then one night he was very solemn.
Say, Hannay.
What is it?
Judge, I should let you a bit deeper into this business. I should hate to go out without leaving somebody else to put up a fight.
He began to tell me in detail what I had only heard from him vaguely. I did not give him very close attention. The fact is, I was more interested in his own adventures than in his high politics. The plot thickens. Karolides. I reckon that Karolides and his affairs are not my business. So a lot that Scudder has slipped clean out of my memory. He was very clear that the danger to Karolides would not begin until he had got to London, and would become from the very highest quarters, where there would be no thought of suspicion. He mentioned the name of a woman, Julia Szejnecki, or something, as having something to do with the danger. She would be the decoy, I gathered, to get Karolides out of the care of his guards. Blackstone. He talked about Blackstone, and a man that lisped in his speech. He described a very particular somebody that he had never referred to without a shudder. An odd man who could hood his eyes like a hawk. He remained solemn for the rest of the evening, and spoke a good deal about death.
I reckon it's like going to sleep when you're pretty well tired out. Awaking to find a summer day with the scent of hay coming in at the window. I used to thank God for such mornings way back in the bluegrass country. And I guess I'll thank him when I wake up on the other side of Jordan.
The next day he was much more cheerful, and read The Life of Stonewall Jackson much of the time, while the rest of London celebrated Empire Day. I went out to dinner with a mining engineer, whom I had seen on business, and came back in time for our game of chess before turning in, and hopefully we beat the rain. No, apparently not. Oh, what do we got here? Mr. Hannay. Oh, it's from Paddock. I left Captain Digley reading in the smoking room with a smoking room with a fresh box of cigars. He was not interested in the Empire Day celebrations, but allowed me to leave to go to see them. I have acquired fresh eggs and bacon for tomorrow's breakfast. Paddock. Good man, he's got the essentials in.
God. Scudder.
What happened to Scudder? Slowly, the story is building. The plot is thickening. And very soon, the action will begin. I know it's a slow start. Hold with it. It's a fantastic story. I'm really looking forward to how this developer has portrayed this story. Liking it so far. I know it's slow, but it's certainly intriguing. We're going to leave it there for this episode. Thank you so much. Join us next time to find out what we can about Scudder's death.